Hello, HBARians. Welcome back to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I wanted to give you guys another update. This one's going to be more focused on price action charts, and I have an exciting announcement that you guys are going to get a chance to participate in, so make sure to stay tuned. I'm going to do the whole thing where I make you wait to the end of the video because I want to keep up the retention on YouTube. Also, do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. You've been watching all of our Hedera content. We do it on the regular, sometimes 2-3 videos a week, but at the very minimum, you're going to get one HBAR video every single week on this channel. So make sure you're subbed, have your notification bell on, and let's start with the daily on HBAR. So this was actually, I had this mapped out as this is how the chart was. And it was more like, it was more like this. Right? And then we had this breakout. So I had to adjust my trend lines. And unfortunately, in doing so, what we see here is no longer a pennant or a symmetrical triangle, right? Because we were looking at this as a long leg and then a pennant. This to me looks more like a descending triangle, which unfortunately, descending triangles do tend to break to the downside. And if we were to measure the move, right, you take kind of the middle of the pattern, you measure the width, and then you take the breakout from below. Now, to be clear, I don't think this is the base case, right? I don't want to say rarely, but not every single time. I would say it's probably 50-50 or 40-60 that the measured move in its entirety happens, which means if the measured move happened, we'd come right back down to 18.5 cents on HBAR. Couple things. One, if it does get down there, you should be excited because this is a massive level of support. You saw I had that line drawn there, not from today, but from the last Hedera video I did, identifying it as a key support level. So that's one. Number two is it would be a fantastic spot to pick up more for your spot bags, or if you're a trader, I would feel extremely confident, unless the markets are completely falling off a cliff, to put in a limit long order at 18.54 cents on HBAR. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, this is on the daily, okay? Now, we've seen HBAR do this before where it's been in some sort of pattern and it completely broke the opposite way. I think it actually happened on the daily. It was one of these. We're looking at, we're looking at a potential head and shoulders, right? Shoulder, head, and then we created a new high. So essentially invalidated that pattern. We could have something like big piece of news come out. We saw what it did to Kronos with the Treasury and Trump, and this thing just starts to skyrocket to the upside and screw the descending triangle, screw the downside, screw the measured move down 18.5 cents. On the weekly looks very, very bullish. Volumes dropping, prices consolidating. You can see the wicks are starting to get longer. A lot of indecision in the markets. Now, this to me is an absolute clear pennant. Okay? This is a clear pennant, a massive move up and a chop down, right? And then that measured move, if it does play out to the very end, that would bring us around 41 cents, which would currently be a cycle high. Okay? Not an all-time high, but a cycle high for HBAR. So the answer here, or the key thing to note here, is if you are able to remain patient and keep your emotions in check. And I know the HBAR community, I feel like I know you guys fairly well, and you guys don't seem like the type of people to just panic sell your bags because the price is going down. In fact, you guys are one of the more positive communities when it comes to, even if the price is tanking, you guys still remain positive and really no infighting. On the weekly, you see the momentum oscillators have rolled over. VWAP has crossed below zero, and we're about to get a bullish crossover on our money flow, but we are flatlining at zero. I think sooner than later, we're going to see this thing expand. We're going to see VWAP essentially come into a U-shaped recovery, expand to the upside. And then the momentum waves, we did just get a red dot. We'll see how far down this goes. One thing to note, and I will say this would be an ideal scenario on both ends. The daily breaks to the downside. Let's say even if we do get that measured move down 18.5 cents, we're probably going to go back down to around 20 cents even, which it's not too far off from the 18.5 to the 20.6 cents on the daily. And then on the weekly, this would be the perfect setup for a mega run on HBAR. And let me just go ahead and clean these up, and I'll show you exactly what I am talking about. Is this momentum wave crosses below our zero line, and then we get our trigger wave. An anchor wave, trigger wave setup on the weekly time frame would be absolutely massive. This would be our trigger wave, or excuse me, our anchor wave with the green dot. Not quite as extended as we'd like it to be, but if this trigger wave is small enough and it's got the red dot, excuse me, the green dot, and you look at the lower time frames, they're showing any signs of a rally. This could be potentially the mega trade, the mega pump that we've been looking for. I was trying to find examples of previous weekly anchor wave, trigger wave setups on longs. I didn't have enough time to do so, but maybe in the next video, I will share some of that. And so this is one thing to keep your eye on. If the daily breaks down, go to the weekly. If you have Market Cipher, throw on Market Cipher B and see if we get that trigger wave. We're hoping this momentum wave crosses to the downside. That would be an epic trade setup. That is on the weekly. I did want to also take a peek at some market data as far as where are orders coming in, where are the bids coming in. Let's take a peek here, throw on some price action concepts here. Now, we do have a fair value gap sitting, top end sitting right at 20 cents, extending down to 16.34 cents. Now, again, I don't think we're going to get down to 16.43. Also, W pattern is still in play. One thing I will note, the last time we came up to around 41 cents, there was a massive liquidity grab that essentially started the downward price action, which saw Hedera go down 60% over a course of, let's go ahead and measure that. How long did that take? That was in a course of around 3 months, 91 days. We do have one order block down here sitting between around 12.9 to 16.2 cents. Let's zoom into the, zoom into the daily way while this loads up. Another fair value gap. You have some confluence with your equilibrium zone, which sits between 20.6 and 23.1 cents. We did already tap that 23.1. So technically, we can say this gap somewhat has been filled, not completely filled. If we were to get a complete fill of this gap, you were looking at 20 cents, which again, maybe not confident enough to put in a limit order at 20.5 cents, definitely at 18.5, but at 20.5, I want more data. I want more information. I'm going right back to the chart. You also had this big order block here, around 17% of all HBAR was traded in this zone between 19 and 20.9 cents. So these are all levels to keep your eye on and where bids are coming in. And also, you take a look down here, tons of buyers. If for some reason we get below that 18.5 cents, I will say at this stage in the market, you're better off looking for longs than looking for shorts, because we get one move and shorts are going to get absolutely liquidated. Now, told you I got a big announcement. I am going to be joined by Mance Harmon on Thursday. So a week from today, Mance and myself will be doing a interview, essentially. It'll be pre-recorded, not live. I'm aiming for about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to ask him questions about Hedera, about his new role at the governing council as chairman. I'm going to ask him about artificial intelligence on Hedera. I'm going to ask him about RWAs. I'm going to ask him what he thinks about where the United States is heading and where he sees Hedera potentially servicing the U.S. government. Now, the community, you guys have been loyal followers of not only our channel, obviously of Hedera. I'm going to pick 1 to 3 questions from the community. So drop your questions in the comment section. If you were sitting across from Mance Harmon, co-founder of Hedera, what question would you ask him? Drop them in the comment section, and I will pick between 1 and 3 questions. I will ask Mance, and I will give you a shout out while he's patching in on the call, and I'll say, hey, this person, your name, ask this question. And so 1, ask the questions, drop them in the comment section. 2, make sure you're subscribed and have your notification bell on, because I don't know when the interview is going to drop. It's going to drop the very next day, the same day, on a weekend. You're going to want to be one of the first people to watch that episode. And so help us do that. And big thank you for supporting this channel. To all you HBAR fans, make sure you come check out our live show Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Till the next one. Peace.